I am verbally unspoken.
I'm Pat.
And I am invincible.
And this is Y2.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second season, 4 Degrees of Black. I am your moderator for today. I am Invincible.
And it's me, your boy Pat.
And your boy Y2.
Boy,
Yeah,
verbally unspoken.
So, all right, we've been going for a minute. We want to welcome everybody back. We got a little bit of a different format. You won't see us as much, but you will still get a chance to enjoy us as many times as you want to, everybody. So stay tuned. Just watch the show, and you'll see how it all goes down. I want to get right into the topic. All right, here we go, gentlemen. It's no secret that black women are successful. In fact, they have probably passed the mark of being more successful than black men, right? So much to the point where a lot of them figure that they don't have to get married, but they want to have kids. Now, the black church has always been influential in the black life, right? So a lot of women want to have kids the untraditional way, i.e. finding somebody to be a sperm donor or hooking up or getting married so that they do it and then getting a divorce. So this is my question to you guys. With women, black women being so successful, what do you think about them going about the non-traditional way of having a child? Do you think it's right, wrong, or indifferent, or something that they just have to do now? And how does the church weigh in on that fact? Let's start with verbally unspoken.
Well, I think that if I think about growing up and the church that I grew up in, you saw both. I mean, you saw women who were married that had kids, but then you also saw women who were not married and still had, one child, 2 children, and were successful whenever to provide for their family and their kids without an issue. And so I generally don't see a problem with it. And when I think about it, if a woman chooses to raise a family without getting married, then that's her right and that's her choice. And I really don't have an issue with it, especially if especially if she takes care of her responsibilities being her children. So from the traditional sense, I guess I'm a little indifferent. And I will always leave it up to the woman to make that decision for herself. If she wants to do it, cool. If she wants to get married and have a family, cool. As long as the children are well taken care of. Now, from a church perspective, you still gonna have those ushers, those preacher wives, those deaconesses, all the president of the usher board and the women's ministry and all that kind of stuff saying, probably speaking, against it just because of the strong tradition of family that is ingrained within the church. And so, you're always going to have those people that are going to always hold on to the traditional values of the family, and you need to get married before you have kids, and even before that, no premarital sex, even all that stuff. So I don't think it will ever be looked upon positively if you look at it from a church perspective. But as far as my personal opinion, I really don't. I'm indifferent.
All right, Pat, what about you?
Y'all know me. If that's what they choose to do, then I'm all for it. Why do you need to get married just to have a child? If that's not what you want to do, then that's not what you want to do. I can go for that. As far as like the church perspectives on certain things, is okay. So what? Who cares what those people in the church think? It's your life. You got to live it the way you want to. That's my view on it.
Why too?
As long as the child has a mother and a father in his life, and I can't say that for every child, but as long as the child has a mother and a father in his life, I think it shouldn't really matter how the bond is between the mother and the father.
All right. So when I heard this discussion going on, I thought like a whole bunch of things. Um, Coming from my background, I've seen a single woman raise a child, seen several single women raise children. Um, but I think the most conflicting part was for the church not to want this to happen. How are you trying to help these women out in that way? You know, if women are looking to get married because they know that their biological clock is ticking and want to have these children, and they do want to provide a family atmosphere for them, but can't, then you have them in a 2020, like you had them stuck in a position to where you had to decide against what I believe and what I want. And so I think I'm in favor of children being cared for. One of the solutions that was given in this discussion was maybe a woman doesn't have to go and get, you know, pregnant by a man and she's not married. Maybe she can go and adopt, any other kind of way to have a child out that is within the traditional, I guess, sense of things. And I guess that's where they would kind of come in at how the church battles what people's wants are against their needs or what they think there are needs. And I think that my problem came in because, again, they're not offering any assistance other than saying, don't have a child if you're not married. Um, what do you guys think about the fact of the church putting rules on people's lives, period? I think that's where the direction I really want to go with this question is, how far do we let the church direct our thinking and what we do? Watu, I'll start with you on that.
The church doesn't affect how I live my life at all. um, I mean, based on my beliefs, um, yeah, that's all I can really say.
Pat, what about you?
I wouldn't. I honestly, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's the church that dictates people's lives. I think the church used the Bible to do just that.
Okay,
Um,
and they do.
as far as people subscribing to that, I don't think you necessarily have to go with the church to do what it says, in the Bible. I don't think that a church or the church member should dictate someone's lives, because we all know that nobody in the church is perfect. So
That's
I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, I understand people take their problems and stuff to the church, which is perfectly fine, but I don't think the church should tell somebody, how they should or should not live according to their own personal standards or their own personal beliefs. Because, like I said, if we subscribe to, the Bible, then there's no need for the church to tell us how to live. If we're going to live by the Bible, the church shouldn't even be in my opinion.
verbally.
I really don't think it's that big of an issue today because I think if people more commonly now compartmentalize things, and so their idea or sense of religion is very separate than other facets or aspects of their lives. Um, which is why someone could possibly commit a traditional sin and then still get up and praise the Lord and be all shouting in church the next day. And so
Wow.
I really don't think that. Um, I really don't think that the sense of the church and the Bible and what people kind of feel and subscribe to as far as their religion is concerned, I don't think that really affects their way of thinking and living today. I think people kind of compartmentalize, well, this is how I praise, this is my religion, but this is very separate than what I do on Saturday night, and this is very separate than what I do in another part of my life. So I think today, in our society today, people kind of are not really attached like they used to be to the sense of church and religion as far as like how they live and how they think.
Well, I'm going to end our discussion with this saying right here. I think the traditional sense of church is not what our lives have formed to be these days. I think that if the church wants to be relevant and um, in our lives today, that they have to change. And I think when it comes to non-traditional and traditional thinking, as opposed to people's needs and wants, that people need to realign and think about some things, and then go from there. So this has been 4 Degrees of Black Season 2. We are now back, and we look forward to your comments right down there, everybody. Again, this is Nvncyble.
Y2.
And Verbally Unspoken.